I love dealing with people's stupid behavior using one of these. You know, a lot of people act stupid in our society, and they're not necessarily heavily armed criminals. They're just people acting stupid, and this is a very underrated tool for people acting stupid. I think more people should privately own riot shields. I've been a big proponent of owning riot shields, and it's just a good way of mitigating stupid behavior. Okay, and it's a good way of protecting your physical body from stupid behavior. And it's very difficult to get in serious legal trouble with one of these things. Very, very difficult, especially if you're clearly not the aggressor and they're the one attacking you. It can make it obvious. You can use this in conjunction with firearms as well as pepper ball. You're already fighting something of an uphill battle because they're calling this a teen event. So you're already dealing with this stigma. They're already being treated like children, okay? So that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the first problem you're going to face. Okay? Like they're already setting you up to be the bad guy by calling these teen takeovers. Instead of calling them riots, which is what they are, calling them teen takeovers, instead of calling them, you know, unlawful assemblies that are usually riots. Having dealt with the court system myself, the court system is the most backward place in the world. It is a place where 2 + 2 = 5, and we use the law to try to figure out how can we, you know, the law is basically like a blunt weapon, okay? And it's basically whoever has the most money and influence gets the outcome they want. And it's 2 + 2 = whatever we says it means. We apply the laws in the way we want them applied. The court system is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. You guys think it's ridiculous because of what you see on TV. The courtroom gets even more ridiculous when there's not cameras in there. Okay, I'm a big proponent of having cameras in courtrooms, and basically we should live stream every courtroom all the time. It should be open to the public because the crap that goes on in there is so ridiculous that I really want the internet to see more of it. Because in the courtroom, oftentimes in our society, 2 + 2 = 5. And so basically, you have to make it as unambiguous as possible that you are not the bad guy. You have to make it as unambiguous as possible that you're not the bad guy. And things like riot shields can buy yourself some time and make it very obvious who the bad guy is. The people smashing and breaking things are usually the bad people, and the people that show up with riot shields are usually the good people. I would maybe like clean yours off, maybe get a cleaner looking one if you're like a business owner. This one looks pretty militant because it's green and it's pretty beat up. So maybe getting a clear one, or maybe getting a solid black one. You know, you don't have to have a super beat up looking one like mine. The cool thing about civilian riot shields is you could do something cheeky, like you could put "Please stop rioting" on the shield. You know what I mean? I mean, you put something like "Please stop rioting" on the shield, and that way when people take pictures of it, it's like if it does end up on the news, it's like you got a riot shield that says "Please stop rioting." You got to be thinking about the optics of this stuff, okay? You got to be thinking about the state attorney's office, your local news agencies, and all these people that want to feel important that are going to ruin your life to advance their careers. You got to think about the people that make 2 + 2 = 5, okay? It's you have the state attorneys, you have these local news people, you have all these clowns, and they're doing whatever they can to advance their own careers, and they need a boogeyman, okay? And a bunch of juveniles rioting, that's not really their boogeyman. For whatever reason, they don't make that the boogeyman. They make the guy that stands up to them the boogeyman. So you really have to think about the optics of it, and you have to make it look as obvious as possible that you've done nothing wrong. And so I see a lot of advice online about this teen takeover. Oh, you need to get a .357 Magnum and just go ahead and blow one of their heads off if they run on top of your car. Oh, just go ahead and run them over. I would go ahead and check out my videos on how to survive prison, because you're going to need to watch those, because your ass is going to prison, I'm telling you. These people will destroy your homes and businesses, and if you try to stop them, you'll be chastised for taking the law into your own hands, even though the actual law isn't doing anything about it. It's just, it is what it is. And so you have to be very careful about, even though, you know, taking the law into your own hands is what human beings did through, I don't know, most of human history. That's actually the norm in most of the world. If somebody wrongs you, you fight back. The idea that the government babysitters are going to save you every fucking time, that's, I don't know, that's just not how, most of the world doesn't think that way. Like if you're in Eastern Europe and somebody attacks you, you're expected to defend yourself, and you might not see a cop for 5 hours. I mean, that's how it is in South America and Eastern Europe and in Africa and most of the world. That's how things are. Okay, if somebody fucking attacks you, you're expected to defend yourself as a man, and like you might not see a cop for a whole day or something. You know, the cops come after the fact and they investigate. The idea that the babysitting service is only 3 minutes away, that's just not how the world works. Even in most places in America, their response time's not that good. How do you survive a team takeover? Surviving the team takeover is what you should be worried about, not stopping it, mitigating the damage they cause, and I'm saying riot shields and maybe pepper ball. And I want to stress, just because you have pepper ball doesn't even mean you should use it, because it's a lot easier to explain to a cop they were rioting and I had pepper ball but I didn't take a shot than, oh, I shot them with the pepper ball. That you're going to come under scrutiny with that, okay? And so I would just exercise discretion. I would just have deterrence. I would have riot shields. These are riots, so I would have riot shields to deal with riots. Okay, the appropriate tool for the job, right? If it's a riot, you bring a riot shield. So if you want to protect your homes and businesses against riots, I think riot shields are the correct tool for the job, and they're not that expensive. That's the good news. I mean, all these firearms that people buy, and I have nothing against firearms. Firearms are great, but if you've already spent a bunch of money on firearms, this is actually a lot cheaper than the firearms you've probably been buying. These go for like $200, maybe $150. You can get the Chinese ones and modify them a little bit, or you can get the American ones, but you're only going to spend a couple $100 on a good riot shield. The Chinese ones are good if you modify them with Flex Seal and you make them give them a little more tensile strength. Me personally, I would avoid the round ones unless you're trying to have really high mobility. The round ones are not good for defending a home or business. I'm going to make a separate video about round riot shields eventually. The ones you see Patriot Front carrying sometimes, they're more man-portable than these. Okay, so it's easier to get a busload of dudes with the round ones than it is to get a busload of dudes with these, if that makes any sense. You could lay the riot shield across your lap and it's like a table. Just a little fun fact about a riot shield. A lot of people don't know it has little niche uses, and I'll probably go into that in another video. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one. Jordan Jared signing off.